during the performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to get you out of here immediately.
In the hurried rush of evacuation, Misty handed Clue some drawings that were later passed to me. We now know these drawings were Shaper-inspired glyphs, or writings. We'll come back to that topic. As the anomalies grew larger and more powerful, the NIA began seeking to control them, organizing agents on the ground and giving them military-sounding names. The first such mega-anomaly occurred in San Francisco on May 16, 2013, and was called Operation Bowstring. During that event, an effort was made by enlightened agents to control me. That attempt failed, although others at the event reported being drawn inexplicably toward the enlightened movement after the event. The attention of Niantic investigators then shifted to Texas, where an anomaly occurred at the precise time that Hank Johnson was uncovering new evidence of ancient Shaper glyphs. A giant glyph appeared on the ground in Texas at the time of the anomaly and was captured by a Google aerial survey plane. The next anomaly occurred in London on June 22, 2013, and coincided with an effort by Hank Johnson to get photographs of the Texas glyphs to fellow Niantic researcher and language expert Carrie Campbell in London using a courier. During the anomaly, which was centered in Greenwich Park and became known as Time Zero, enlightened agents intercepted the glyphs. Before agreeing to pass them on to Carrie, the agents demanded that Clue make an appearance and come clean about her interactions with the Jarvis entity in Scotland. On June 29, 2013, in Portland, Oregon, a massive number of enlightened agents collaborated to dose Clue with Enlightened XM. The glyphs were then delivered to Carrie Campbell, who had been released by the Niantic lab in Hamburg, where she had been dissecting her impressions from Epiphany Night, and in particular, drawings which she came to understand were actually Shaper glyphs. Unfortunately, this marked a dark turning point for Carrie. As she delved deeper into those strange drawings, which seemed to have the power, like XM itself, to shape or even reprogram human minds, she apparently lost touch with her own sanity. Operation Cassandra. The latter part of the summer was marked by a dramatic uptake in Shaper activity, which was given the name Operation Cassandra by the NIA. Massive surges of XM throughout the world were correlated with an organized effort by the enlightened to seize control of governmental and financial power centers. The effects were felt perhaps most strongly in North America, where Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, and Chicago all came under siege. Dr. Linton Wolfe surfaced in Washington, drawn out by what appeared to be a message from Jarvis himself, asking for his help in spreading the enlightened movement to political leaders. Shaperglyphs began appearing in many locations around the world, including as hacks in video content of the Ingress report. Most frighteningly, news came from speculation by Deborah Bogdanovich that the glyphs represented nothing less than a control language that the Shapers could use to undermine entire civilizations.
Glyphs are more than words. They're like a programming language for our minds.
And programs can be bad. I've seen what glyphs can do. They can be self-destruct codes for people.
Translations based on the diaries of Carrie Campbell and the work of fellow Niantic lab researcher Dr. Stein Lightman showed the message to be a series of ideas that could be interpreted as a kind of self-destruct sequence. Open all, clear all, begin journey, pursue self-war, pursue self-destruction, and begin. Carrie Campbell made her way to Chicago during the anomaly, and in a radical step to counter the threat from Shaperglyphs, invoked a different Shaper message, a blocking code of some sorts, by inscribing a series of glyphs on her body. She died in that effort, but she seemed to have diffused the Shaper civilization's self-destruct sequence. Meanwhile, in Boston, Clue was exposed to yet more glyphs in her effort to understand the Shaper message, this time with the inexplicable assistance of Ada. In a disturbing sequence, partially captured on video, a series of glyphs were flashed on her laptop computer screen. The glyph exposure sent Clue into a comatose state.
Show them to me.
I did warn you. Initiating glyph sequence.
Operation 13 Magnus. In the wake of Operation Cassandra, Dr. Linton Wolfe fled Washington, D.C., and later emerged in Bangkok, Thailand, where he was welcomed by agents from Hulong Transglobal. During a brief period of intense work, he created a weapon based on the alternative form of XM, chaotic matter, and attempted to use it against the Jarvis entity. This set off the most recent stage of the Niantic drama, when Jarvis, rather than being destroyed, was shattered into 13 fragments, which were scattered to portals around the world. Dr. Linton Wolfe fled Hulong in disgrace as agents around the world began to piece together the implications. In Los Angeles, Hank Johnson and Deborah Bogdanovich were summoned to a meeting by Ada. Ada didn't show up, but strangely sent a newly recovered clue in her place. Clue relayed dire warnings to Hank and Deborah about the threat posed by Jarvis and pointed them towards the mysterious...
Okay guys, so 2 things. If you're struggling to understand some of this, it could be that you need to go back and watch part 1. If you watch that and it's still not making any sense, I'll put the link in the description. Hopefully I'll remember. Thirdly, I know I said 2, whenever she says recently, this is back in the first year of Ingress. It's now 2015. It's about 3 years old, so yeah, whenever she says the newest event, it's not. The newest event that I know of is... I can't even remember now. Okay, I'll try and put that name in the description as well, and let's get back to the video.
13 Magnus Society, which had been preferenced in certain classified documents. More work by Hank Johnson led to details of an ancient secret society related to the Egyptian myth of Osiris. As you may be aware, Osiris, a green-headed god in many depictions, was resurrected from the dead after being dismembered into 13 pieces. Hank's research uncovered a group that passed down the secrets of this process through the ages, seemingly tied to knowledge of portals and XM. It subsequently became clear that Jarvis intended to use the convergence of his shards as a way to...
One sec guys, my phone's going to die in a minute.
rise from the dead and walk again in human form. One key piece of this resurrection is his physical body, which was exfiltrated from the Niantic lab in Geneva in a paramilitary raid to capture the remaining scientists. At least 2 people who came into contact with the body died under mysterious circumstances during the process of moving the body to the CDC facility in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Bogdanovich visited the CDC at a time correlated to an XM anomaly there and was captured on video warning scientists about a chaotic matter plague.
We call it dark XM, or chaotic matter. As part of my research at Vizur, I developed a protocol for controlling the effects of exposure.
She admitted to having made mistakes in the past, but has now left Vizur and is pursuing a radical strategy of global inoculation against XM. After the anomalies in Dallas and Vienna, 4 special Red X phones developed by Dr. Linton Wolfe were intercepted by agents. These were used by Linton Wolfe in an attempt to coordinate global efforts to fight Jarvis. However, the Jarvis entity somehow infiltrated the phones and used them to disseminate a haunting message known as the Jarvis Redemption.
The power lies within you. Seek out the portals and find that power.
In the weeks following, the 13 shards emerged at locations all around the globe. Each shard was identified with a key idea associated with Roland Jarvis. Awareness, creativity, strength, insight, understanding, memory, belief, charisma, empathy, identity, aesthetic, intuition, immortality. The 13th and final shard appeared at the Cristo Redento statue in Rio de Janeiro after the Resistance controlled the anomaly in Phoenix, Arizona, and Rome, Italy. Both Enlightened and Resistance agents went to extreme efforts to secure and move the shards. Perhaps the most extreme example was an operation masterminded by Russian agents, which moved 5 shards from the former Soviet Union to Northern California in a clandestine early morning operation.
Hello, Eagles. Moscow here. 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Another amazing operation occurred when agents pooled resources to charter a small plane to send Agent Artio to remote Alaska to destroy the anchor position of a key resistance link blocking the coast of California. The final showdown occurred on December 14th, 2013, a time that came to be known as Reckoning Day, which we covered with a live stream here on the Ingress report. As we speak, both agents from the Resistance and Enlightened factions are locked in an intense struggle to control the anomaly and the fate of Roland Jarvis. After an epic struggle, in the last 72 hours of 13 Magnus, the Enlightened prevailed, delivering 8 Jarvis shards to Cupid Span in San Francisco, while the Resistance, urged on by Dr. Linton Wolfe, managed to move only 2 Jarvis shards to Buenos Aires,